Hello everyone, my name is PaperNapkin and welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Pokémon FireRed. In the last episode, I took Erica on a date to the garden, I threw her in a pile of compost, and I had my way with her. In exchange, I got a shiny new rainbow badge, which I'm really excited to have. Not really, they're kind of meaningless, but let's go with it. In this episode, I plan to go on to Lavender Town, take on the Pokemon Tower, but before doing so, I'm going to cover some of the things I did in between the two episodes. First of which, I came to the game corner, spent about an hour and a half grinding away coins, and I managed to pick up a charcoal, which I'm going to give to Ricky at this point. And I also had enough to pick up Flamethrower, which is an awesome move. So I'm going to teach that to Ricky really quickly. As you can see, Flamethrower has a base power of 95, 100% accuracy, so it's pretty awesome. Way better than Ember at this point. I definitely recommend taking the time to pick this up. And I mean, if you use the game corner machine that I pointed out before that has the odds better than other ones, it's pretty hard to like lose coins. You're going to get them eventually. I'm also going to teach Giga Drain to GHOSTBUS. This is what we picked up from beating Erica. It's a lot better than Bullet Seed at this point. It does only have 5 PP, I mean you can only use it so many times in battle, but it's definitely worth it. And later on there are a couple items that we can use to boost the PP of that move, so I'm not too worried at this point. Before we head to Lavender Town, there is one thing I want to do. A slight detour, if you will. If we come over here to the left of the Celadon City, there is a new route, which means we can catch a new Pokemon. So let's take a look and see what we get. Hopefully it'll be something new. And it is a Rattata. Of course it is. You can also find Doduos here, which is a pretty strong flying type Pokemon. It doesn't look like it can fly, but it's actually really useful. If you don't have a flying type Pokemon at this point, I highly recommend it, just because its evolved form is pretty good. There's a trainer battle there I don't want to fight. And if we come over here, this is the teacher I was mentioning, not the random Pokemon. But if we come in this house and talk to this little girl, she will actually give us a little present. HM02, which lets us use Fly. This is a great HM just because it lets us fly between the cities that we've been to, so we don't have to worry about traversing back and forth, which makes editing so much easier for me. And unlike other HMs, Fly is actually a pretty decent move. It actually does 75 base power, 95% accuracy, I think. It does take 2 turns, but on that first turn, it pretty much makes your Pokemon invulnerable to attacks. I'm going to teach it to Hope, obviously, just because she's my flying type Pokemon, and it's a pretty good useful move to have. I'm getting rid of Sand Attack just because at this point, it's not really something I'm going to be relying on too much. But now if we go to Hope on our inventory screen, she can fly to anywhere that has a little symbol with a wing. So let's head over to Lavender Town. It's a pretty good animation. And now that we're back in Lavender Town, we can head into the Pokemon Tower. I mentioned this before, this is pretty much a mass graveyard for dead Pokemon. If you talk to the people here, they're pretty much here to mourn the Pokemon that they've lost. There are these priests along the way, or channelers that they call themselves, that guide the Pokemon spirits, I would say. Oh, but first it looks like we have a trainer battle with Gary. Let's see what he has. Whoa, it's pretty intense, Gary. You want to kill my Pokemon? Don't you know I'm doing a Nuzlocke challenge? That'll be in the end of them. At this point, Gary is starting to develop a pretty strong team. He's got a lot of different types of Pokemon now. He might give you a little bit of problems, especially if you're not prepared, if you don't have a good mix of Pokemon on your team at this point. You might want to level up a little bit. I'm not too worried just because my Pokemon are awesome. As you can see, Ricky, oh no, Ricky, don't miss. As you can see, Ricky, with one Flamethrower is doing pretty good damage, even though it's under level. So I'm pretty excited about that. And just like that, that Pidgeotto didn't even stand a chance. Someone asked for some fried chicken, because I just delivered. Next up, we have Gyarados, which is actually going to be pretty darn scary. I'm going to send out GHOSTBUS. Gyarados is an odd Pokemon. It's water and flying, So if you have an electric type Pokemon, you're doing a huge amount of damage if you use the electric type move. I'm gonna go ahead and try and use Giga Drain and see how much that does. I don't know if it gets double damage because it's also flying type. No, it's just normal damage. Okay, that's not a whole lot. Gyarados also have really good stats, so keep that in mind. I'll just keep on Giga Draining it. That way I'll do damage and also regain what I do. Why is it using Thrash though? And it confuses himself, that's always good. Hopefully he can damage himself and end this sooner. That would be embarrassing for him. Come on, hit yourself, hit yourself, hit yourself. Oh, you hit yourself in the face. What a loser. Loser. Whoa, look at that experience points. Next up, Exeggutor. This is a grass type Pokemon that we haven't seen yet. At this point, it's a really weak Pokemon. You don't have to worry too much about it. It's probably going to try to put you to sleep and set a barrier and stuff like that. But later on, it'll be quite an intimidating Pokemon, to say the least. But Ricky should be able to handle it with one flamethrower. And yes, take that. Bunch of eggs. That was exciting, don't you think? Oh my god, I'm sorry. That was terrible. And Ricky's level 22. And next up, Kadabra. This is actually a pretty scary Pokemon. They're weak physically, but they can do some serious damage, so I'm going to try and take it out as quickly as possible. And I don't really have any Pokemon that are super effective against that Kadabra at this point. Next up, Charmeleon. I think this is a good chance for, oh shit, to get into battle. Level 25, that's nothing. When you're first coming to Lavender Town, if you do come in the Pokemon Tower, you do have the option of fighting Gary at that point. Obviously your Pokemon will be a lot weaker, so they might be on par with what he has now. Just keep in mind that you don't have to fight that fight right away. You can do what I'm doing and put it off until after you go through Celadon City, which is probably actually the best idea, especially if you're doing the Nuzlocke challenge, because you don't want to risk losing your Pokemon for something that could be avoided, especially at this point in the game. I feel that right now we're kind of at the cusp of where things are starting to settle out. You want to build up your team to what you want it to be in the final. And if you lose a Pokemon at this point, then, I mean, that's a huge loss, especially if you put so much time into it. But just like that, Gary's defeated, and we can continue onwards. At this point, there are random Pokemon and a lot of Pokemon trainers, and that means we can get a new Pokemon, and it is a Ghastly. Surprise, surprise. There are tons of Ghastlys around here, so let's try and catch it. It's only level 17. I wonder if Bite will probably kill it. Flamethrower will probably kill it. Probably best to switch into something else. I think a Mud Slap would be okay. But I could be wrong. And he's licking me. That is slightly erotic. I like it. What? Oh, god dang it, I totally forgot about that. So, obviously Ghastly has the Levitate ability, so ground type Pokemons are just completely negated. So I'm gonna have to switch into something else. Normal type moves also do nothing to Ghost type Pokemon. What am I gonna do? Should I Giga Drain it? Yeah, let's try that. Wow, I didn't think this through, did I? Curse. Oh, that's not good. Curse, when used by a Ghost type Pokemon, pretty much takes away the, oh, look at that, the Pokemon's hit points, and it puts a curse on your Pokemon, so it does damage over time. If the Pokemon that uses it faints, then you also faint as well. Maybe I can catch this with one Great Ball. Come on, Ghastly. 2, 3. Nice. Very, very nice. I was actually counting on catching the Ghastly at this point to round out my team. Probably going to switch it with Snake, just because Snake is pretty useless. In terms of name, I'm going to call it something totally cliche. Ghost. Nope, that's not it. Ghostbuster. Oh, it doesn't fit. You bastard. Ghostbus. That's good. I like Ghostbus. Anyways, Now that we're done with catching a Pokemon here, I'm going to start applying repels like a boss. Just because I won't have to deal with all the random Ghastlies. If you fight the Pokemon trainers here, they all have Ghastlies and Haunters pretty much. If you have a Pokemon that has a Dark-type move, great place to gain experience points just because they're pretty easy. And there's not too much to the battles. And so if we just make our way over here... let's see if I can grab that item without engaging. Yes, an elixir. Not too shabby. And over here we have a... Awakening. Okay, I can sell that. Oh, crap. Didn't mean to do that. So pretty much these channelers are possessed by these ghost-type Pokemon, as you can tell by their freaky-looking faces. I like how their eyes are like wide open and their tongues are hanging out. That is just creepy. Fortunately, Ricky does have a Dark-type move, so you should be able to kill them in one hit. Yep. Easy, easy, easy. Nothing to worry about. If you have an Ekans that's leveled up quite a bit at this point, you can, I think it learns Bite. Actually, I'm guaranteeing that it learns Bite, so that's one option. And we find a Great Ball, and I think we might have to fight her. Can we go all the way around? Oh, maybe we can. And yep. Other Pokemon that learn Dark-type moves at this point, not a whole lot. If you got enough coins at the game corner and you picked up Shadow Ball and you taught it to something, that's also a good option. I guess I'll go this way. Nope, sneak by. I guess I think I'm gonna fight one. Oh, no. Oh, okay. So this is pretty much like a healing spot. If your Pokemon are weak at any point, you can come here and heal up. And here we find the Cleanse tag, which if you equip to your Pokemon in the front position, it'll make it so you encounter random Pokemon at a less frequent rate, if at all, I think. So it's pretty useful if you want to avoid using repels and whatnot. But, I mean, repels are dirt cheap, so I'm just going to stick to that. Especially since later on, there's a lot of really useful, usable items for your Pokemon. Not just ones that boost your stats, but also ones that will like, heal your hit points and stuff like that. But I'll get into it as I come across those items. But as you can see, even a level 24 Ghastly is nothing to Ricky. Ricky is just going to be my go-to Pokemon at this point. At least for the next little while. I'm sure I'll give some other Pokemon some airtime, just when I feel like it. If we come down here, we have a Nugget. Please look away, thank you. Come over here. As you can see, these levels are pretty small, not too much to them. And we find X accuracy, pretty much useless. Nice, nice. Gonna have to fight her. Damn. Reminds me of it reminds me of those bats from Final Fantasy 1. If you talk to them, they'd just be like ki. Anyone else remember that? No? Am I too old for you guys? Go look it up on YouTube, or download the game and try it out yourself. Then you'll understand what I'm talking about. And maybe Ricky will level up. Please, 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 please. Nice. So yeah, those Ghastlies are actually giving pretty good experience points. I definitely recommend fighting all the trainers in here, just because it's really easy experience. And yeah, I'm gonna have to fight her. Maybe she has something more interesting. Come on, let's see a Haunter. They only have one Pokemon, so that's not too bad actually. Makes for quick battles for me. And for you guys as well. Go through the motions, take them out. Pretty exciting episode to say the least. Amelia. Amelia! Was it Emilio? Yeah, I got that wrong. Oh, TV references. I guess it's a movie reference. If we come over here, we have a rare candy, which is very nice. I think I have quite a few now, so those will come in useful later. At this point, we have a scripted battle. It is with a random ghost-type Pokemon. It actually turns out to be a Marowak. If you talk to the people in the town, they talk about how there's a Cubone, and his mother died, and then the Marowak was defending him. This is that Pokemon. And because of Team Rocket, it's a little restless, so it doesn't want to go to peace, I guess. I'm going to switch into Goddish for this fight. Even though it's a ghost Marowak is still, you know, considered a ground type Pokemon, treated as a normal Marowak. If you use repels all the way up here, I guess technically if you're doing the Nuzlocke challenge, you could walk away with a Marowak. But since I have oh shit, I don't really need a ground type Pokemon. Also, I guess I didn't mention this, aside from Ghastlies, you can also come into... Whoa, shit! Okay, dokie. I think I just pooped my pants a little bit, so I'm gonna switch out. Maybe I won't. No, I'm not. I'm risking it all, folks. This is... Oh, what am I doing? Don't die, don't die, don't die. Don't use Boomerang, don't use Boomerang. Don't kill me, don't kill me, don't kill me, don't kill me, don't kill me. So close, so close, so freaking close. Why did I risk that? Why? 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 Anyways, I walk away from that, barely. What was I saying? Oh yeah, you can encounter Cubones very rarely. There's also Haunters, which is the evolved form of Ghastly. If we come up here, it's actually the top level of the Pokemon Tower. I'm gonna heal up, just because... Do I only have a Hyper Potion? Okay, maybe I just won't use Goddish. But what is this? Team Rocket at the top of the Pokemon Tower? What does this mean? What is the meaning of life? Why are those tombstones purple, yellow, and orange? Well, you're gonna have to wait till next episode. My name is PaperNapkin. Take it easy, folks.